This video is going to be the smelliest and stinkiest video of all time because today we're going to talk about the top 10 stock trout fishing scents. What is up out there, Mavericks? Welcome back to the channel to the latest stock trout fishing video where, oh my gosh, this really stinks. Oh my gosh, it's all over my fingers because I've been catching a lot of stock trout using a lot of different scent combinations. Now, as an angler, you have so many different scents that you can use to catch stock trout. So today, we're gonna narrow it down to the top 10 most efficient and most effective scents that you're gonna use to chase stock trout and catch a limit every single time. Now, to start out the list at number 10 is a banger of a scent, and that's going to be marshmallow scent. That's right, these little marshmallows that you usually put in your hot chocolate is a great scent to go after and chase stock trout with. Not only because it's a perfect bait that you can utilize, you can dab some extra scents on it, but marshmallows are naturally and of course just made full of sugar, which trout absolutely love to go after. Trout love sugary, sweet baits, and marshmallows are a great bait to utilize to go after some stock trout. It's a great one to go after stock trout, especially on small ponds where you got small congregations of trout in a little bit of water. Marshmallow is a great scent and bait to use. And on really slow days, I just love bringing out the marshmallows and see if they'll bite. And sometimes that's been the trick to really get the trout going, getting that nice marshmallowy, sugary, smelly bait right in front of the stock trout, and then they'll absolutely go bonkers for it. So next time you're out trout fishing, use that marshmallow scent to your advantage and go after some stock trout. Just don't eat all the marshmallows before you get to the lake. Now, for scent number 9, this is one that not a lot of trout anglers really like to use, and it's just not that popular, but it catches a lot of stock trout, and that is crawfish scent. Now, crawfish is a bait and something that trout go after, especially natural trout. They'll feed on crawfish in certain lakes and streams and little river systems. It's a good protein food source that trout will go after, so that's why I recommend using crawfish scent when you're going after stock trout. It's got sweet, it's got that protein scent, and it's something that trout naturally feed on. It's a great scent no matter what to go after, and you know, those trout will be nice and close to the bottom, and they'll see those crawfish digging in or moving around, and they'll go after them. And I think when it comes to the crawfish scent, it's a very underrated and underutilized scent. Dabbing a little bit on some of your baits, a little bit maybe on the hooks on your spinners, that can go a long way to catching some stock trout, including some really big stock trout. For some reason, the bigger fish really love crawfish scent, and that's why I recommend it and have it at number 9, because it's sweet, it's got a lot of protein, and the trout absolutely go bananas for it. Now, coming in at scent number 8, this is one of my personal favorites and one that you can only find in one particular power bait, and that is nymph scent. When you talk about fly fishing, nymphs are baits that fly fishermen use a lot in a lot of different situations and a lot of times of the year. And Berkley has a power bait scent that is in nymph scent, and it's something you don't see like a bottle of scent that's nymph out there on the market, but the nymph power bait and that nymph scent absolutely crushes the stock trout, especially in the early summertime and in the summertime on those really hot days when the flies are out, when the trout are absolutely going bananas for that topwater bite. The nymph power bait is something that I will throw out there that's completely different from a lot of different anglers and something that's really underutilized. That scent, that trout will go absolutely insane to bite that bait in that nymph scent. Nymph is just that scent in the warm water, warmer conditions, and again, that early summer and summertime is one of my first go-tos and one of the first scents that I'm going to pull out of my bag and utilize on the water. Now, coming in at scent number 7 is one of my personal favorites, and again, another underutilized scent that I don't see a lot of anglers using, which is anise. Now, anise is technically a licorice type scent. It's what licorice is made out of. You grind it up, it's got that black licorice, that strong licorice scent. But for the most part, the reason why I like to use anise, because when you've got oils and other scents on your fingers as you're molding baits together, you're gonna have some human scents that trout just really aren't gonna like. But in the Northwest, we use anise a lot when it comes to salmon fishing to mask the human scent. You know, when we've been touching those baits, is to add a little bit of that anise and some other additional final scent to really entice really big bites with fish. And the same can go with stock trout. When you're molding power bait, drop a little bit of anise scent on there to mask anything that maybe is on your hands. The fish will still go after the bite. And I've had days where anise is just the one scent that the stock trout really go after. And that's why I highly recommend and help you start utilizing anise as a scent. If you're on the fence and you're thinking about maybe a scent and something different to utilize this year, go with anise and see how your hookup and land ratio increases. Now coming in at scent number 6 is another sweet high protein scent that stock trout absolutely love, and that's going to be shrimp scent. Shrimp scent seems to come through day in and day out, time and time again on those super slow, super cold, wintry days. And shrimp is just one of those scents that's super oily and something that's going to give off a lot of scent trail. You know, no matter what bait you're trolling behind the boat, adding a little bit of shrimp is a great and deadly combination that I have found, especially in wintertime trolling, but also on those days where the mornings are just a little extra colder. Shrimp is a go-to for sure. Now we're into the top 5, and we're going to start out with number 5, of course, which is going to be one of my tried and true favorites, which is cheese scent. That's right, if you've ever fished for stock trout, cheese is one of your go-tos. Cheese is just a scent that stock trout absolutely love, and I love using it because it's just one of those scents that you can use at all times of the year. It works in lots of different conditions, morning, noon, nighttime. I've caught more stock trout with cheese in the midday and the afternoon than a lot of other scent combinations that I've tried to use. It can get you on some really big trout throughout the different times of the year. And it's a scent that I always have in my bag when I go stock trout fishing. And yeah, I've always told that joke about telling my brother to spread a little bit of that cheese power bait on his sandwich. It never gets old, and it's still funny to think that he almost put that in his mouth. And then seeing my dad's face when he's about to eat that power bait is always an instant classic. So make sure you're not gonna feed your kids or try to trick somebody into eating that cheese or that cheese power bait, cheese scent, whatever. You're gonna need that to catch the stock trout instead. Now coming in at scent number 4, one of my favorites, which is salmon egg and trout egg scent. Now whether it's smelly jelly here or whether you got the salmon egg power bait scent, salmon and trout egg is super poignant. Yes, very poignant. It is just really dense. It's a really nice scent throughout different times of the year. And I really like salmon egg and trout egg in the winter time as well. It's just one of those baits that the trout absolutely go nuts for. And I would also say in the early spring, in those colder days where the trout are just getting stocked into some bigger lakes, salmon egg and trout egg scent can definitely be the game changer and the really hot scent that the trout want to go after. And then the other time of the year that I really love salmon egg and trout egg is in the fall time, as those fish start to bulk up, they start to feed up a lot, especially in the early morning time. They're hitting the surface, feeding on all cylinders, the water's perfect temperature, they're just gulging down a lot of baits. Salmon egg and trout egg is just one of those scent combinations that just absolutely rips them in the fall time as well. So make sure towards the end of the year, you still got plenty of this scent left in the bag, because it's going to help you nail and get a couple of those big old trout right at the end of the year. Now coming in at scent number 3, this is one you definitely don't want to get on your fingers and smell your fingers after using, which is Nightcrawler. And that's right, I said it, Nightcrawler scent. Now Procure, which is a great company that makes a ton of different scents for all kinds of different fish species, they have a Nightcrawler specific Procure gel scent. And I highly recommend, if you're going out stock trout fishing or trout fishing in general, you should grab a bottle of this. This has been one of the biggest game changers and scents that I have used, whether it's wintertime, spring, summer, or fall. This scent absolutely slays. And if you don't have any fresh Nightcrawlers with you, this is a great scent to use on power bait, power eggs, if you got worms, if you got mice tails, a little bit on rooster tails, any bait that you can think of, the Nightcrawler is a great substitute. If you forget your worms are just bad, you have to throw them out, you should have Nightcrawler scent with you at all times of the year. Now coming in at the number 2 scent, that's going to be one of my all-time favorites and one of the first scents that I use all the time when I'm out stock trout fishing, and that is corn scent. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you've heard me preach a lot about why corn is critical when it comes to scent and why trout just love corn in general. When trout are being raised at hatcheries as stock trout before they get planted, the food source and pellet feed that they are receiving and getting in those hatcheries is corn-based. It's cornmeal based. So as they're growing up, they're getting bigger, they're fattening up right before they go get stocked out in the water. They're used to a corn diet and that corn scent. Now, outside of the corn scented power bait, this corn procure, this sweet corn, is something I'm using on all of my lures, especially trolling or even plunking baits, even power bait, even worms, even eggs. I'm using this on everything. And I got to tell you what, this sweet corn is sweet because it is catching a lot of stock trout. And in the last 2 years, I've caught more trout on the corn than any other scent except for number 1. All right, now without further ado, what is the number 1 scent, the number 1 stock trout fishing scent out there? Well, yeah, it's gotta be the garlic, baby. Just the garlic. And why garlic is so effective is because it's super stinky, the scent travels a long ways, the trout really like it, and I have found that garlic fishes really well at all times of the year. Winter, spring, fall, summer, the heat of the day, the coldest of days, the windiest of days, garlic always seems to come through. It's gonna help you catch the most stock trout, maybe your personal best, and maybe your fastest limit ever. So there you guys have it, the top 10 stock trout fishing scents. And hope you guys got some great information today. And if you like today's video, I hope you get hooked on this other video that's gonna help you catch a lot more stock trout as well.